Go ahead, take us in, Grant.
I'm not recording yet.
We are.
Yeah.
Are we?
Is my right. Welcome to Bones, Twigs and Wigs.
Damn, baby.
The podcast about music.
Sometimes ready. Let's get into it. Go for it. What's going on, beautiful people out there? This is your boy Johnny Bones Jones. I'm here with my crew. Say hello, crew.
Hey man, how you doing?
Hello, crew.
Crew is a place in Britain.
We got Twigs and Wigs here, and this is the Bones, Twigs, and Wigs podcast. And today we are doing another lovely episode of Vinyl Impressions, my favorite segment of this whole entire podcast. And it's my turn, man. So today I chose What's Going On, Marvin Gaye.
Classic.
Man, look at that. Look at that collar. You see that collar on that guy, man?
What
Jesus
is that
Christ.
about? What does that look like if it's folded down? It'd be like his shoulders?
Right? You know, it's a big collar, right? Oh man, but yeah, I'm a huge Marvin Gaye fan. Always been. And man, like his, you know, I would love for someone to make a movie about him. I don't think anybody has.
Yeah, what an interesting, sad life the poor guy had.
You know what I'm saying? Like
There must be a movie about him.
It's got,
It has to be.
If it is, it's low budget. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully it's good.
Yeah, there'll be something we haven't seen, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you know, look it up. But
Yeah.
I'm curious myself, man, because I would love to see, and who would play him. To be honest, like I'm trying to think of like an R&B singer nowadays that can like, and maybe he doesn't have to be an R&B singer, but just like a really
What's
good
so
actor.
funny?
But,
Sorry. I've typed in Marvin Gaye movie.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin obviously comes up at the top. And yeah, the movies that come up, there's just two. 1971 and 1972. I presume one of his songs is on a soundtrack because I don't think Marvin was in or it was about him. Chrome and Hot Leather. That's picture of the nice young lady with the bicycle things. And the other one is Trouble Man, which is an exploitation.
right, yeah. So Trouble Man.
Oh,
Now-
sorry, just to jump on that one more time. 2018, so a couple of years ago, Dr. Dre is making a movie about Marvin Gaye, and that was 2 years ago.
Okay.
That I had it. So that might be in the. That
Hell
might be in the
yeah.
making.
Might still be in
Dr.
the
Dre?
making. All right, cool. I gotta look
Solid.
that up. Yeah, man. Yeah. Speaking of Trouble, man, I'll give that like an honorary mention. It's not on this album, but that soundtrack, dog, is
Really?
it's amazing. Just everything about it. Like you can even take out the vocals out of that soundtrack, and just like the music by itself sounds amazing. But what's going on? I just love this whole album. Like for years, I've always seen this album cover, and I happened to go to Guitar Center one time, and Guitar Center, like the past few years, they've been doing this thing where they're selling vinyl. The only thing I didn't like is that I didn't like the price.
I nearly said that I stopped.
No, I'll tell you why. Because when I first started crate digging, right, and you know, just like collecting vinyl, I would go to like the Goodwill or like bookstores where like the Goodwill, bro, you got vinyls for like 50 cent dollar. You know what I'm saying? You go to the bookstore, the highest you might pay is like $5, maybe 10 if it's like a double LP or something like that. So I just kind of had that mindset. But now we live in this era where like vinyl is like making its way back, and people are getting like albums, you know, like reprinted and pressed again and things like that. Like this isn't an original, you know, this is like a whole, you know, reprint, which is cool, you know, still plays good and you know, all that jazz. But man, I think they tried to charge me like $27.
I was going to say $25, yeah, about £20.
Yeah,
That's
bro,
seems to be
you
the
know what
going
I'm
rate.
saying? Now, like, but the thing about it too is like, okay, it's such a good album and it's such a gem. So imagine if I did find it like at a Goodwill or like a bookstore, how much would they charge me there? Would it still be 50 cents or $1, or would it?
Oh man, not for that track, man. That's
You know what I'm saying? and the condition too, like, you know.
Oh man, that's the condition.
Perfect.
That'd be worth quite a bit of money. I would have thought.
Right, like
condition.
this right here, like I opened it up and everything, but this right here is probably like I would say near mint. I've played it maybe like a few times, you know. It still looks good. But yeah, like that was the only thing. But I'm such a fan that I was like, all right, well, I gotta get it. So there's a few albums that I purchased that were like reprints. This was one. A Fleetwood Mac was another one, and you know, just to have like those classic records that I have to love you as a fan for me to buy your reprint for like 20, $30. Like, you know, that takes a lot out of me, brother. You know what I'm saying? When I can get it, I can get something for like 50 cents. Like I can get like, you know, I can come home with a bunch of records instead of just one. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, but I'm not complaining. I love you, Marvin. You know, I won't complain. But yeah, man. So opening this
What's the
thing
inside?
up. Yeah, it's a whole book.
Oh, are those pictures of like his family or something? I can't.
Yeah, so it's like a family photo, right?
Oh, he's in the middle. Oh, right. I didn't realize he's wearing like the black shirt, so he just looked like empty. Oh, cool.
And he's like, he's in there like a few times actually, I think. But he's got like his whole family in there.
Is his dad in there?
I was about to ask, is his dad in the photo?
Sorry, Marvin. We had to make a joke.
Actually,
full respect.
Yep, I see his dad. There might be his father, like in the top corner, right there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's starting to feel like the last scene in The Shining right now, isn't it?
It is a little bit.
But yeah, like most of these pictures, I think they're pictures of him because, like I said, he's in here a few times. So there's pictures of like him younger, older, baby pictures, things like that, and then him with like other family members. I think his mom is in here, maybe like some cousins and things. But beautiful, man. And I just love, like, when I remember the day I opened this thing up, and I just, you know, unwrapped it, unfolded, and I'm like, wow, like look at this big collage right here, man. It's beautiful. Another thing that I dig was on the other side, you have lyrics.
All the lyrics, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, all of the lyrics, man. And it made me crack up because you got songs like what's this? Let's see. You got so you got like Mercy Me, right? And we all know that starts off, whoa. Oh, so they literally put whoa Mercy Me. They literally write it out, bro. Even worse, Inner City Blues. The Rockets moonshots, you know. You know, that starts off like da, 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 da. I can't remember like the actual like rhythm off the top of my head, but you get it. But they're literally putting like the das in here. It's like da 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 da, da. And they're like counting the das like in the lyrics, bro. It's like it's hilarious, man. But
how many
like he
in the first track? How many go-ins are in the first track?
How many? Let's see. He's got like three. He's got like 3 right-ons. he's got like a right-on baby, and then right on. You know.
I'm sure one of my old Michael Jackson ones has he come on, ow. I'm sure it has a come on. Yeah, the Shimon. I'm sure it has.
We were looking at Dangerous, and it's got like every repeat of every line. It's just in there. It's like,
you know,
and it just takes up half the lyrics. It's just him saying the same thing over and over again.
Just write chorus times 18 or whatever the hell.
Like imagine having to write that. Like, just like, all right, cool.
Imagine being that proud of those lyrics that you want them repeated that many times. I'm like, no.
Like,
no.
Write it down. I want to see it. Like,
you think you'd be the opposite, but like, no, don't write that down. I don't want people to know that I'm singing the same shit for 5 minutes. So just don't put that there. Don't put that there.
That's
they
what
won't
I'm saying,
realize.
man.
If you don't tell them, it's like smoke and mirrors with a magician. If you don't tell people, they won't realize.
Exactly. But yeah, man, like he's got like a letter in here. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but he's got like this letter, and man, like he says like some pretty interesting things in here. Just like kind of giving thanks. Let me read this one line. He says, I mean, the fact that people just won't let us think for ourselves really bugs me. Now, just because I like Mercy, Mercy Me, and the one that says save the children shouldn't influence anyone. And you shouldn't have to pay any attention to the lyrics on Flying High in the Friendly Sky just because I think you ought to. It's ridiculous. So yeah, man, he's like, he kind of goes in, you know what I'm saying? He just like kind of like reflecting on the whole album. And then he talks about like some people that he loved. He actually puts his father in here too.
That's heartbreaking.
Here's some people I love. So I dedicate this album to Mrs. Alberta Gaye, Mr. Marvin P. Gaye Sr., and then the list goes on and on. So yeah, that says a lot. For those who don't know, Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his own father.
It's crazy.
I know, crazy, man. Crazy
Ridiculous.
story. Crazy story how it happened. There's actually a PBS documentary, awesome documentary on not Malcolm X, I'm sorry, on Marvin Gaye. And they talk about like, you know, that day and like what happened and just like the 911 call and everything, man. It was crazy.
But he's classed as I always thought it was classed as murder, obviously, but it was his parents having a fight, wasn't it? But he was shot him twice, but it's classed as manslaughter. So I'm not entirely sure. I mean, your law is slightly different to the English law.
Yeah, it was interesting because like Marvin at the time, he was already going through a lot, like mentally and just, you know, as an artist, he was just kind of. Somebody said, you know, Marvin had in one ear, you know, praise God, and then the other ear was like, just make this money and get everything while you can. So like he's like fighting these demons, you know. And a lot of people say that, you know, he just got tired of hearing his parents, you know, go back and forth and fight. So I don't want to sound wrong, but like when you watch this documentary, man, like they make it seem like he was just so fed up that, you know, he basically like jumped in front of that bullet, you know what I'm saying? Like he knew like the possible outcome would be like his dad getting so mad because his dad was like very abusive, but his dad was weird too. Like his dad was like a cross dresser and everything, you know what I'm saying?
I
like,
saw it, yeah.
He was into like some like crazy stuff, bro. So yeah, man, you know, crazy stuff. But yeah, bro, like he's got all the credits in here, and I just want to note that that's the reason why I love vinyl, because, you know, they put, well, especially like, you know, old records like this, they put, you know, all of your credits, who was on drums, who was on soprano sax, baritone sax, tenor sax, alto, like flutes, like everything, man, percussion. You know, Marvin actually played piano on a lot of these tracks too. But yeah, bro, like they just give everybody their shine, and then he writes a little note right here. It's like a little prayer, and then he signs Marvin Gaye right there.
That's cool.
Yeah. So like, yeah, man,
Nice.
It's definitely one of my faves. Had to snack it, you know, and go ahead and add that to my collection. Even though it was like $27, but you know,
You're never gonna get over that one. You're never gonna get.
Yeah, I won't, you know, but I'm happy, you know. But yeah, man, what was you guys' top 3 on that?
And for me, I'm gonna be fairly straightforward on this one. I see this album as one song. To be honest, it doesn't end. It doesn't. That sounds like a bad thing. It doesn't end, man. Oh my god! But it's the way it was. He's written it as a conceptual idea, as you know, the songs flow. But the 3 which just mean more to me than anything else. I mean, I'm just getting back into this because this is fairly new to hear this again, and I don't think I've ever listened to it as a full album until this, which is why I love this series, because we're all revisiting or learning new things. But what's going on has to be, especially at the minute, like things like that are important. These are important songs. There's artists that go through their entire career and don't have. I'm not saying songs that aren't about political stuff or whatever are not important. I'm not saying that at all. But there's only certain artists who manage to hit the nail on the head, and he did it with this song. I don't think he wrote it completely, but yeah, that Mercy Mercy again, that's more about the world rather than political stuff, which is a stunning song. that is just ingrained in my blood from hearing it. It's sampled a lot as well. And Flying High. I just think Flying High is just stunning. Just absolutely stunning song. Man.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, man.
Like,
So a bit obvious with those choices, but I just think this album just lends itself to. I mean, it's an iconic, and it's hard. You know, I feel like I'd just be being a bit of a cock if I chose something that wasn't one of those 3 songs. I'd be doing it just to say I'm being different because I don't know the album inside and out like you guys might do. So for me, that's I think you can't go wrong with those 3 songs. I mean that's
All right, what you got, G?
I mean, yeah, I like Flying High.
Yeah,
That's
the tune, man.
I mean, yeah, I was listening when I was listening back to this again. It's funny how like all these little things that you forget about an album or about just or anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like so I put the album on and What's Going On comes on, and the first thing that I think about is I'm like, man, how loose and loud are the backing singers in this song?
right.
Like
There's so many
like,
vocals on this track. Yeah.
there's so much just. It's so like it's just and it's all like overlapping and getting in its own way and stuff all the time. I went, man, this is a loose track. I always just kind of forgot about that.
I think they've just tried to. It's almost like the Wall of Sound, isn't it? Like the old Supreme. What's his name? The producer who came in the Wall
John
of Sound.
Coltrane.
No, John Spector. John Spector. The producer Spector who made the Wall of Sound, which was that sound we all know from like Ain't No Mountain High Enough or not. It's like that theory, like they were trying to come up with this wall of vocals. That's what it felt like to me. Like
John Coltrane's Sheets of Sound.
Sheets of Sound.
Sorry.
I make shit of sound. So there you go.
Sheets of Sound. Sheets of Sound.
So wait, so you said Flying High. What else you got?
Just a little selfishly and self-pluggishly, I'll say God Is Love, because just because I've played on a tribute to this album before, and that was the track that I played on. It's funny. I was just talking to you about this when we were about to record. I went, I just remembered my old housemate, Nathan Power. Mm-hmm. He's a good old man of mine from university. He's nowadays he plays a lot of like folky sort of acoustic music, which is cool. But he went to university to play drums. Like he's a jazz drummer, and me and him used to like teach at a school together and everything, and we're housemates. And back when we were housemates, he decided that he was going to get into like an electronic music thing. He went to an electronic music sort of stint in his career, where he was just like kind of doing some kind of like trigger based sort of music and all that. And he made an entire kind of remix tribute of this whole album. And I was just talking to him, like while this episode's going, I've just like messaged him and said, "Oh, I just remembered you did that Marvin Gaye What's Going On thing."
Did he hit you back?
Yeah, he hit me back while you were talking, and he said, "Yeah, use it." So I've just like downloaded it and I'll throw it over. But yeah, I'm on it. God Is Love.
Yeah.
And now that he reminded me that I played on it, I went, "Oh, that's right, I played on one of the tracks." Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm gonna say God Is Love.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. And you got one more?
I mean, I can't go past like Mercy. Like it's just like Steve said, it's hard to not be somewhat of a cliche fan with this sort of album,
man.
What about is there anything that you don't dig on this album? Because I got a specific thing that doesn't bug me, but I don't quite understand what he was going for.
I'm not very religious, so I generally tend to go against the more religious things. I don't know why. Just an automatic knee-jerk reaction. I don't know what it is, but I don't think there's anything bad on the album. It's just a classic album.
Nothing bad.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that strikes me.
I'll tell you my thing. So I always get weirded out when Save the Children comes on.
I was trying not to pick that one, but I think that was.
Because there's going to be a lot of things that we talk about with these vinyl impressions where I think we're all going to have a very similar opinion of the same things. I think we'll all be like, if we don't have that, then that's probably a pretty like strange album, right?
Yeah.
But it's just a choice. It's like an aesthetic choice thing to me. I'm very weirded out by him saying the line and then singing it.
Yeah. I thought it was somebody else. Saying it and he was singing it back. Is it him?
However, I don't know.
No, I wasn't sure because I was weirded out as well because it's a call and response, but it's a bit strange. But I wasn't sure if it's him talking and singing to himself or it's somebody else.
But that's the thing. Like, that's like, we got to realize like how weird, and some people might hate me for saying this, but like, I think Marvin was like the Kanye West of his time. So much was going on in that noggin. And it was like bugging him, but he came out with such awesome music. You think about what's going on, bro. The background, like vocals in that, is just him just talking to himself.
Yeah. Oh man, it's insane.
Yeah. But it sounds like it's like a room full of people at a party. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, it starts off like, "Hey, what's happening? All right. And then, like, you get this sax solo. You know what I'm saying? And even in the midst of all of that, bro, I wish I had like the master mix of this song. I would just fade everything out but the vocals, and I bet you there'll still be somebody in the back like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, pass me that right there. All right.
I like chocolate. Do you like chocolate?
I like that.
I like chocolate.
You would just hear
this is bad,
so many,
Marvin. I know, Marvin. Burn it, Marvin.
Bro, you would hear so many different voices on this track, bro, and it's hilarious because like it sounds like at least, I'm not gonna say 20. It sounds like at least like 9 different people talking at the same time, bro.
Do you think it
was there men and women like just talking?
Yeah, like a party. Like, was there anything else? Was there anything that did that kind of thing before Marvin Gaye with this album? Because you put on any Snoop Dogg record, and it's always like,
oh, there you go.
Like you put Doggy Style on, and the whole thing is just him at a house party.
Yeah, exactly. But think about it.
They're trying to set the scene, but like
Marvin was the person to start that, bro. Anytime somebody does that whole like, let's get it to sound like we're at a party, or let's get like these people screaming in the background or people making party noises. Marvin was the first to do it, and not only did he do it, but he did it by himself. Like he didn't say, "Hey, you come in the studio and just act like you're at a party." No, he said, "Hey, it's about to get weird in here, so just bear with me and just record it." Like
leave it running. Come back in 25 minutes
eventually,
and he come back and there's broken glass on the floor. He's been drinking. It's like,
bro, I'm telling you, man. Like he's like it sounds like somebody's playing a card game. Somebody's like on the floor dancing. It sounds like two cousins who haven't seen each other in years. They just met each other again. They're like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you been, brother?" And it's like,
I always thought it was a group of people. I'm
telling you, bro, it's all Marvin. It's just Marvin talking to us.
I never knew that at all. That's insane. I thought he must have put himself in there a couple of times. I didn't know it was all Marvin.
He put himself in all the way in.
Man, if he hadn't have passed away, maybe he would have started calling himself Jesus. Maybe he would have been the first Kanye completely.
You never know. I'm telling you.
That's the first thing that I thought when What's Going On comes on. I'm like, man, all these... Man, it's that thing again. It's that fucking thing of he's pretending like he's having a party.
I'm telling you.
It's like all those skits on hip hop albums, or
but that's normally like the backing vocalists and like Trey and Snoop and Warren G. They're all sat in a room smoking blunts and they're just chatting. They put a mic in the middle and let's just have some fun for an hour.
Oh, dude,
this is actually Marvin Gaye's own.
But here's the thing: you would think, right? You would think Marvin, because if I'm not mistaken, at the time, Marvin, if he didn't have his own studio at the time, he definitely had the studio at Motown locked down. Like,
but they recorded this in 3 different studios. One was Hit City or whatever it's called,
Hitsville. Now that's
Hitsville.
That's Motown. That's Detroit.
In Detroit, yeah. He went to 3 different places. One in LA, one Detroit, and maybe one New York. I looked before.
Right,
Anyways, yeah.
I know there's a story. I don't know if it was after this album or before or whatever, but there is a story where Marvin got so big that he told his record label, yo, if y'all want to keep me, y'all need to give me my own studio. And they built him a state-of-the-art studio. You know, it's amazing, man. Like, well, it was amazing back then. Mm-hmm. It's like now it's just old equipment, but but yeah. But you would think that
such is life.
You would think that he would just grab a mic and just sit it in the room like an omnidirectional mic,
man,
and just invite, like, you know,
he could put like
run around in circles
in
chatting to himself.
He could put like, I was gonna say, he could put 5 microphones in there, get all the stereo sound he wants.
You know what I'm saying?
What's he doing?
Right. Like he can like pan it, and that's the crazy thing too. Like when you listen to it like in the car, like you listen to it like with headphones, it's like you literally hear, "Hey, what's happening? Oh, what's up?" And like you hear all of these different things, bro. It's so crazy, man. So
I can imagine like Berry Gordy walking in and like wondering and going, "So what's Marvin doing today?" Me.
Right, he's just like,
we've just got him a new studio. What's he doing?
Right. I can just imagine Barry just seeing that and just saying, I'll come back later.
Berry Gordy's like, it's Marvin. At this point, Marvin is gold. So cool.
You know,
let him go.
I'm telling you, man.
It's not panned wide enough. Someone give Marvin Gaye some more cocaine.
Yeah.
Straight up.
We need him on every side of the room. We need him in every corner.
I'm telling you. So yeah, that's
I didn't know about that. I did not know about that.
Yeah, that's the hidden gem about that. And even like after that, like, you know, after finding that out, every song I've heard after that, and every album after this album, I would listen to Marvin in a different light, in like a different way, because I wouldn't pay attention to like the music so much, or even like the lyrics so much. I would pay attention more to the vocals. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was in school, man, my teacher, he was like, you know, trying to teach us how to mix. And he just so happened to pull up the multi-track of a Marvin Gaye song. I think it was what was it? I Want You. You ever heard that?
Yep.
Oh man, groovy tune. I gotta put you on to that, Steve.
Yeah, please.
But man, like the background vocals in that, like I just stopped the class and I was like, yo, like, can you do me a favor? Can you just mute everything and just like bring up the vocals? I just want to hear lead vocals and all the background vocals, you know. And it was probably like 8 different like vocal tracks all put together, man. And they were just like lush. Oh my God, man. Like his vocal arrangements were just like out of this world, you know? So yeah, like I give Marvin like props for, you know, just having like awesome lyrics that make you think, make you really listen, and that inspire, but also having like the vocals to put on top of that to really like show his musicality, and just having like dope music, you know what I'm saying? Like his arrangements and everything.
Yeah. Another thing to remember is this album, I believe, is his 11th studio album.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's like bursting onto the scene with this thing.
Right.
He's been around.
Right. He's
for a
been,
while.
Yeah.
And that's why he can get away with the concept album as well, where it doesn't have to be single. He can go, guys, I'm going to make this album. It's going to be weird, but I know that this must be his own studio, like saying, yeah. So you got it.
And it brings me back to that Kanye reference, because you think about when Kanye first came out, everybody said Kanye was weird. Like everybody who knew him, they said that he was weird. He was standing on top of the studio tables saying, I'm the king of Chicago. And everybody's like, all right, man, just
I love
this video is in Jay-Z and Jigga's like going, okay,
right,
brother.
Jay's like, okay, man, you the king, bro. Just sit down, bro. Like,
you hear that Chappelle story about him? About the night he met Kanye West? I think he does it on like Jimmy Fallon or something. Chappelle's talking, he's saying that the first time he met Kanye West, he was, you know, he's editing the Chappelle show, and I think Kanye was a guest artist on it or something. So they're all kind of sitting in the editing room and they're watching these skits that haven't come out yet, and they're listening to like a new Jay-Z album or something, and like Kanye is just this nobody, and he's sitting with Dave Chappelle at the height of the Chappelle show and all that. and they're playing, and then he'll just be like, stand up and stop the record, and just start like just trying to take over the room, and then the best part's like his phone rings, and he answers the phone. He goes, no, I can't talk right now, because I'm sitting watching skits with Dave Chappelle and Jay-Z. Because my life is dope and I do dope shit. And that's how, like, yeah, the one that Dave Chappelle tells the story is just like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I knew that he was gonna be
straight up, but like
a big deal.
It's like when you think about it, man. Like, okay, like Kanye's first, like his first couple of albums, man.
High School
like,
Dropout.
Like college dropout, Late Registration. That was back when
the Teddy Bear albums.
Yeah, like that was back when I was like a Kanye fan. When he started doing like Yeezus and like when he got to like 808 and Heartbreaks, I was like, it's getting a little dark. It's getting a little dark here. Right?
And some of it's not that good. Some of it's okay, but some of it is some of it's shit as well. Some of it is bad. Like it's just like because he's in his own head too much. It's like it's like when you're not being criticized, when you won't take criticism, when you won't take outside influence. You can create absolutely stunning pieces of art or shit. Because someone tells you that doesn't work. Fuck you. Okay, fine. Whereas initially he was learning from the greats around him, and he created stuff. Him and Jay-Z together were amazing. Like he created some great stuff. And Gold Digger, I mean, nobody can ever forget Gold Digger. It's one of the best hip pop singles ever. To get Jamie singing on it, doing his impression of Ray Charles. I mean, like, what the hell? I mean, like, genius.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, man.
It's like, and it's and that's the story in itself too, because like Jamie actually talks about that story, how he's in there, he's like trying to sing it, and and that one in Slow Jams with Kanye, Twista, and Jamie, like, those are like all big tunes.
Jamie can sing, by the way. If you're watching this or listening to this and you don't think Jamie Foxx can sing, he can sing. Christ.
Hey, you talk about a triple threat, like singing, acting, and comedy. Like he's like killing it,
man. And he's probably good in Brand as well.
God damn. Great at impressions.
And
funny,
really
man. He's funny.
Very good at impressions.
I'm sure he's done stand up at some point. I could be wrong. I know he's had his own.
Yeah, he has,
bro.
Yeah, he's had his own. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I've seen him do stand up.
He
does. Yeah.
Remind me to put you on. I've
definitely seen clips of him do
on DVD. Like, I'm a fan, bro.
And I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but Jamie he has his radio show in LA. I forgot what it's called. And he's the reason Ed Sheeran is Ed Sheeran, because Sheeran went over, did a show. Like basically, Sheeran saved up money from CD sales in England, enough money to go to LA.
Yeah.
He booked a couple of gigs somehow, and one of his gigs, Ed Sheeran's gigs, happened to be this sort of hip hop club, and he was the only white guy in there, and a very, chubby, ginger, terrified white kid. Well, probably not terrified because he's confident with his own abilities. And he went on stage, and everyone's like, "Who the hell is this?
Right.
What are you
gonna do?"
And Jamie Foxx happened to be there, and obviously Ed Sheeran does a couple of tracks, and people are like, "Oh, actually, this guy's cool." And then Ed Sheeran, obviously, like all of us, obsessed with hip hop, knows a lot of stuff, and just started doing hip hop songs and his own versions of them. The next day, Jamie got him on his show, and introduced him to that side of America. And he stayed with Jamie Foxx for like 2 or 3 days. He couldn't afford a hotel, and he met Jennifer Aniston at a pool party. He's like, I met Jennifer. And then he went back to England and had to do like a local pub gig or whatever for like £50 because he'd already agreed to it. So he had to go back from Jamie Foxx's house hanging out to do the local bar gig for nothing.
Right. And Jamie is always like talking about that. Like he's always mentioning how he's getting to these, famous people before they get famous.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a story about him, when he met Kanye West and Kanye came to his house, and when he had Diddy in the same house at the same time, and like he's just like
these people live, man.
Networking.
It's like, does the world not explode like Diddy, like Jamie, like in the same house at the same time? This is insane.
Jamie is just always throwing parties. Like he's that guy. Like he gets along with everybody, and he's always throwing these parties. And then in those parties, people just network. But that's beside the fact. I brought up the whole Kanye thing and the whole artist thing because I think a lot of these artists, when they stay in the game for so long, and when they make over 10 albums or even over 5 albums, they just start to go, through these changes. You know what I'm saying? And you can hear it like in the sound of their music. You can hear it in the content, and like you can definitely tell like Marvin went through that, because like Marvin was like singing doo-wop when he first came out, bro, and like these like soulful songs, and then he goes from that to songs like this, and granted, like this whole album is like inspired by just like what's going on in the world, you know what I'm saying, and like what's really happening out here, and he's trying to encourage people.
Do you think just to tap onto that, I don't want to get too much into the stuff that's going on now, because I don't know whoever's listening to this when you're listening to it, but
if you know Steve,
I could, believe me, but I won't. What I was going to say is, I said Marvin didn't write What's Going On. I know I was trying to remember before. It was written by whoever wrote it, and they offered it to the four. I know. I just stopped myself. I don't want to say the wrong name. You can have a look. But I was going to say, but they offered it.
It was written by whoever wrote it.
I know, but they offered it. It's a guy. A guy. Man. There was the story behind it is there was one guy who saw some police brutality during an anti-Vietnam thing. And then he apparently was talking to this other guy saying, yeah, what's going on, man? What the hell with blah, blah, blah. And this other guy wrote down the words, came up with the basic song, and then they were going to give it to the Four Tops. And then they said,
oh, God.
They said no. They were like, no, it's too much. Yeah, and so he went to...
What's going on?
Can you imagine? I think it's a Four Tops. So I was reading... I'm sure Johnny's looking at this now, so if I'm wrong, then I'm sure you'll forgive me, but I'm sure it's a Four Tops. And then he played it to Marvin, and Marvin obviously thought it was great, and then mentioned it to Berry Gordy, and Berry Gordy's like, no, that's too much. No, you're not doing a protest song. And obviously Marvin wins because it's Marvin. But what I was going to say is, do you think there's anybody out there musically now who could do something like about what's going on? I can't not use that phrase in this situation. Like
Kanye West.
Right.
Yeah, but no, he's too much of an egotistical
Kanye West
bastard at the minute. Like, I mean, because there needs to be something said about this stuff.
J. Cole has already written, songs about what's going on, like today, like with protests and things like that. We got to realize too, like, what's today's date? It is May 31st, 2020.
June the 1st for me. There you go. And now in June.
Oh yeah, June the 1st for
me
you,
and
right?
Grant are in the future.
Right. But
especially May.
But we have to realize that the same thing that's happening right now, right this minute, with all of these protests, they just happened, like I think 2018, 2016. You know what I'm saying?
Happens all the time. Just repeats.
Right, and it's like the beautiful thing about music, and the sad, ironic thing as well is that there's still, if this thing keeps going on, this music is still gonna relate, and it's still gonna make sense to whatever is going on. I can listen to this What's Going On album, and this thing was written in the freaking 70s. It was written in like 71, but yet it still makes sense to what's actually happening around me. And I bet you, like a J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar.
I was gonna say Kendrick. That was my choice. Was Kendrick?
And like or like a Childish Gambino. They make a song about something that's like relative and something that people can relate to, especially people of color. If this is still going to happen and this is still going on 20 years from now, our kids are going to be like, man, this dude named Kendrick Lamar from back in the day, man, he came out with this song back in 2000, whatever. And it's still like, I can still relate to it, but that's the power of music, man. But like I said too, it's also like, the sad part of just the way that, the way that the world goes around.
It's like a footnote in history that when, like say, when these things repeat, we can easily look back to when in the past something else happened, like NWA. Fuck the police was like the LA riots, like Rodney getting killed and stuff like that. That's like, you look at that time and go, how is that still happening? And then you look back at this song, this album we're talking about, what's going on. That's about race riots. When was that? 1970. Hendrix talked about 1969, Machine Gun. That was about race riots. But like, it just seems to be a constant theme.
You can go
it's
to
like,
Strange Fruit or
Strange fruit.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, man. Says battery exhausted.
Battery exhausted.
All right, well, you guys
Still
keep on
there?
talking for a second. I'm putting another. We've talked for a long time. That's by the way, this battery you can still hear me, but
Steve,
this battery
Steve,
has
you-
lasted
Steve-
me 3 hours 20. Oh, just over 3 hours for
That's
one
pretty
battery.
good.
That's amazing, man.
Steve, you're getting a little dark for us, buddy.
Man, the second we talk about Black Power and Black Lives Matter, look what
did
happened
the
to my
lights
screen.
go
I'm
out,
just
brother?
saying,
Did
man.
the-
I'm just saying, I'm fully on your
No,
side, man. I'm the biggest ally there is.
See, Steven likes to have the fanciest camera, but what happens
It's
when he
things
forgets to
like
plug
this.
that fancy camera in?
There you
He
go.
ruins everything.
There you go. Now we just got
But
more. We
I
got
was-
more to add to the outtake folder. You know.
But man, I was just chuckling to myself while you were talking about like the relevance of like songs with things going on. You're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, our kids will talk about Kendrick Lamar, and I just started laughing because I was like, what if the song was "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe"? Like, I was like, man, that was a beautiful commentary on the world back in 2000. Bitch don't kill my vibe.
Oh my god, and that's the problem too, man. Because we talked about that,
This dick ain't free.
but we
Man, it's a real social commentary.
but we talked about that. Like we talked about how like the artist might literally be saying, yeah, like this is what it is, but years down the line, we're gonna think, oh man, he was so conscious, and like he was like so like man, like political, and it's like no, this is what I meant, like for real.
It's like that Chris Rock bit where he talks about how it's hard to defend hip hop these days.
I'm sorry,
To the
man.
windows,
As you can see,
to the walls.
as you can see, there's a bitch in his way,
Yeah.
and he needs to move. You need to get the bitches out of your way so you can open your eyes so you can get the bitches out of your way.
Joe, I think the
my
first time I
God.
saw that stand up, I spat beer and cried. Like it was that.
It's one of the funniest things.
How can I defend this? To the sweat drip
song-
of my balls. How can I defend this shit?
The song that he comes up with, smack her with a dick, smack her with a dick.
Yeah, that's it.
Smack her with a dick, smack her with
And
a
the
dick.
girls are
Put a
backing
dick in
into
her ear, dick in her ear. Fuck her in the eye, fuck her in the eye. Blind the bitch, blind the bitch.
I forgot about that bit.
Man.
Ain't talking about me. Smack her with a dick, smack her with a dick.
Yeah, that's it. He ain't talking about me. It's okay.
Oh, man.
It's like he
But
is
yeah,
so
man,
on
but
it, man.
it's just all about like whatever's relevant, man. And
I just think that would be the funniest future
yeah. But like
if they did that.
but it would. But I mean, but
You got to
gotta
find a
think,
comedy
like,
in this
that's how-
shit sometimes.
Like that's how we are. You know what I'm saying? With like stuff that came out back in the day, we're like, oh man, that was just so conscious. And it's like, I mean, what if the artist was just like, no, like this is what I meant. I meant exactly this. You know. So yeah, man. But yeah, dope album. I gotta say my top 3 before we sign off, and I'm gonna be like hella cliche. So I'm going to say what's going on.
If you don't say that song, there is
I
something
know.
wrong with you.
Yeah,
You have to.
and,
It's just a big song.
And I'm going to say Mercy, Mercy Me. I'm also going to say Inner City Blues, man.
Oh yeah, I was
Flying High in the
did
City.
my-
I was between those two.
Yeah,
so-
I
that's
said mine, and then I went, I didn't mention Inner City Blues.
Yeah, that's a big tune. But I will say, like you said, like if I had to pick like my least favorite, it'd be Save the Children.
It's a strange little track in there, isn't it? Like just in the middle. It's like,
But I gotta mention the end of Mercy Me is so weird, bro. Like he goes throughout the whole song, and then like there's like that sax solo, and then the key change, like all that stuff, right? Then all of a sudden it breaks down, and it's like,
that's right. It does.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
like, it's like, and I'm sorry for all of my listeners out there because that was like terrible, but that's what it sounded like, dog. Like it was so weird, bro. Like it's crazy because like you ever like I'm no DJ, but I've been in situations where like somebody's like, "Hey, John, like play some music," and I'm looking at the crowd, and it's like, some old people in there, like some old heads. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play some Mercy Me. But now I have to know after this sax solo, I gotta fade out and move to the next song because it's gonna start getting kind of weird,
Yeah, you there's a good reason why you only tend to play maybe like 2 minutes of a track,
bro.
You forget how weird things can get sometimes.
I'm telling you, what makes it even worse? Like one time, right? I had a gig, like Mercy Me. I actually have the backing track to that. So I had a gig and I forgot about the end. So,
mate, I've got some. I've been going on this for a couple of weeks now, and just redoing all my crates.
Yeah.
In Serato, because I got way too many tracks that I've just like, the day of a gig, I need this song, so I've like found a version, thrown it on, haven't really listened to it.
Right.
And then in the middle, there's like, I don't know, there could be some radio DJ going, "You're listening to."
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Or like the guy or like some guy's done a mix of it that I didn't know that I was getting, and it would just go, "DJ that other guy."
Right. And it's like,
I'm like, oh no.
And you're sitting there like
in a
scratching.
wedding.
You're like,
yeah.
Oh snap! Like, yeah.
Or just playing a wedding or something. It's the worst. Like,
But,
or you accidentally get the uncensored version of something, and you need the censored version. Man. Like, I have this I got this version of that James Blunt song.
Which one?
That is
You're Beautiful.
You're Beautiful, yeah.
All the James Blunt songs sound like that.
Yeah,
I met the guy. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. But
You're Beautiful song. I just love talking about James Blunt around Steve. But he can't stand James Blunt.
Oh man.
But it's that You're Beautiful song, and when he says. I always thought that he said he was flying high because, I know it from like the video clip.
He does say a curse word in there, doesn't he?
Yeah, because instead of I was flying high, and he says fucking high.
It's fucking
and
high.
I remember I would always play it as like background music at a wedding, like in between band sets, and my singer Matt, my singer would come up and he'd go, "Oh, you can't play that one." I'm like, "But it's in the background music folder that we have for the wedding," and he goes, "Yeah, we gotta fix that because he drops a giant F-bomb in it." Like a really aggressive. I'm like, this song? He drops a really aggressive F-bomb in this.
It's such a pretty song, though.
Can we just say what choices James gone there? It's sat there, written that and gone, and not one person has gone James. But then again, knowing. I don't know him well personally at all. But knowing his sense of humor, like I think he's probably gone, "This is fucking hysterical. We're keeping this in. I want to swear in this beautiful song, and we'll change it." But then people hear the album and go,
right?
Because that's his sense of humor, I think.
And it's a good song. Like it's the only song I know from James Blunt. Like this,
he's got a 1973 one. I'm burning something. He's got a couple of okay tracks. Sorry, James. Sorry, James. I just can't deal with your voice. I just can't. I can't.
In that 1973 track, that 1973 track, he drops the Dr. Dre California.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
But yeah, man. But yeah, those are my top three, man. I had to mention that Mercy Me, man, because that thing, I love that track. But right after that sax solo, I just hit skip. I'm sorry, Marvin. It's like I love you, brother, but I don't know what you trying to do right there.
I feel like that's what we were saying before about when people have they're surrounded by yes men, and they're at a certain level. Nobody says no. If he'd done that album halfway through, like his fifth or sixth album, maybe someone who'd gone, "That's a great song. We just need to finish." Or let's stick a middle eight and finish. And he's gone, "No, I've got a concept." And that just takes away from the end of it. But then again, that's what makes the album, that type of stuff.
But what's crazy too is that like as an artist, you can tell like he was not fully keeping the audience and the people in mind.
No.
Because like when this is a record that you can put on and you can just allow it to play while you just having a good time. You in the house, you might have a few people over and you guys are just relaxing, just chilling, right? But then when you get to Mercy Me, and then it's like, oh yeah, oh mercy, mercy me, and you're just like jamming, and then oh Like, you're like, yo, how do I go from grooving? Now I'm like listening to like this Luciferian chant. Like, it's like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah, that's another thing that fucking Jimi Hendrix and the Grateful Dead did to people.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll just extend the jam.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
I'm
push it.
telling
Let's
you.
see where we can go with this. You know what? Let's leave that in the record.
Hang on, is it what's going on in this song, in this album, sorry, where it fades out and fades back in?
Yep.
That's what's going on.
Yep,
Because that happened
yep.
on a Hendrix song as well. I can't remember which Hendrix says it. Is it Voodoo Child or something? There's a Hendrix song in the past where basically they faded
Foxy
it
Lady
down
does it.
because they physically had to fade it down at the time because they like bounced it down from 4
They
track
didn't
to 8
have
track.
any automation. Yeah.
Got to the end and then slipped and knocked it back up again and went, oh shit. And they just left it in. They just left it in. So I'm wondering if that's the same on this or if it's on purpose.
Well, no. So this one is What's Going On. They fade it out and then they bring it back up and it goes into What's Happening, Brother.
That's what it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it goes into track 2, which is kind of cool. So it's like that fade. Cause like that's the other thing that Marvin was famous for too. Like a lot of his stuff was like in the same key. What's Going On, I could really play. I used to do this like at live gigs. When I like played with a band and stuff, I would play What's Going On and go through that whole little bit. And then I'll break it down and like kind of like bring it down and then go straight into Mercy Me.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah.
Mercy. It's the same groove.
What key is it in?
It should be the same key, you know. And if it's not the same key, then you play it in the same key as What's Going On.
What key is it
You
in?
can keep that groove going, you know. I
Well,
play.
you ever see like Marvin Gaye at the
In
the Montreux Jazz Festival or anything?
Nah, I
Like any
actually
of them?
haven't.
It's really cool, but you know, he's a lot like say like an Earth, Wind and Fire or you know any of those bands that that do stuff like that.
Right, just keep
These
the
sort of
music
big
flowing.
like it's a lot of these guys have very much a DJ mentality at these gigs. So and a lot of the songs that they write can lend them just
Exactly.
they end up writing tunes that naturally lend themselves
Right.
to that mentality of well we could just flow them all into each other and just
Exactly.
keep people moving and keep people dancing. There's no breaks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye's got a lot lot of that.
Yeah, I'm telling
especially and this whole album is like that,
That's
except
what
for
I'm saying.
Save the Children.
Right. You know? Yeah.
He just everything stops. It's just
Yeah. But yeah, man,
We've
and
gotta save the children.
I gotta also give like an honorary mention too to God Is Love, because when I don't know, it's like I remember the first time hearing this album, hearing the whole album all the way through, it was actually on this vinyl. Like I probably heard it as a kid, like my grandparents probably just kind of put it on, but I wasn't paying attention. But when I got this album, I played it all the way through, and I was just like, wow, man. And you know, he's so smooth. Oh, don't go talking about my father. God is my friend. Like it's like, oh, snap.
he doesn't do this though. He's like
Well, I imagine him doing that, you know.
this is
He's
he's always,
always
doing
right
this
on
sort of thing when
No,
he sings.
he's more like this. God is my friend. Like he's always like holding his stomach, you know.
He's always big. He's always got like big white suits, like we said at the start, giant collar.
Oh, the
Speaking
colors
of
like
that,
that.
Up, like,
I didn't show you guys the back.
Oh no.
oh yeah, what do we got?
Is he in a playground?
It kind of looks like it, right?
What's
Or
that?
maybe
What's
like a
that in the
backyard.
background? What's the red and is that a flower?
Yeah,
What the hell
it's
is that? I
like-
can't see what that is.
It looks like some toys. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he was in his backyard somewhere. You know?
That picture looks like the second verse of Man in the Mirror.
Yeah.
And if he's in
much.
like a children's playground singing children's
Pretty
song,
much.
we're back onto R. Kelly. So
Yeah, but like it's such a beautiful pic because like you can literally see. Oh, I just missed what he said. All I heard was R. Kelly.
He said, how do we get back to R. Kelly?
Oh my god.
That was in the other episode.
But no, like
I'm
so
just
this,
making my editing way difficult.
Oh, yeah, you are.
way more difficult. I can't even speak. Jesus Christ!
There's a good outtake.
It's
A great
because
outtake
these
you can
guys
make.
are
It's
in the
just-
middle of the day, chilling out at evening, breakfast time. For me, it's like I might as well have a drink because it's
Yep.
it's
Hey.
3:45 or 3:35 in the morning for me. So I'm like,
Mate, I don't
I'm
pick
tired
the
and had a
times.
couple of beers.
The fact that the times you guys pick is always like 9 a.m. for me is not my fault.
No, I was
I'm good
actually
with
gonna.
whatever.
I was actually gonna
Yeah, we
suggest
can
a
switch it
change,
up.
which we
can
could
switch it
change
up.
it so yours would be midnight. For me, it'd be afternoon. For Johnny, it'd be like 9, 10 in the morning. That's the only other switch we could do. You two would basically
I'm
switch.
happy to do that. I mean, every time we're talking the night before a recording session, I'm up texting you anyway at
That's
1
true.
in the morning. So it wouldn't make a difference to
Yeah,
me.
to all of our listeners, man, like we, for those who don't know us, or if you're listening for the first time, first of all, thank you for hanging in this long. Secondly, we're all from different places and we're all from different time. We live in different time zones. So right now for me, it's like 10:30 p.m. It should be what time is it for you, Grant?
It's 12:30 in the afternoon.
In the afternoon, and he's been
I'm about
on,
to have lunch.
Yeah, he's been on since like 9. Like we just been talking for like 3 hours straight. It should be like 3 o'clock in the morning for you, Steve.
3:36 a.m.
Most times we stay on so long that like we literally see the sun creeping up in Steve's window.
It started.
Yeah,
The sun comes up around 4 a.m. and I can already see the outline up there.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So but that's what we do for the love of
That's why I don't
this
sleep.
podcast.
That's why
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where my lights go. Look at this out. Look at that bag, man. What is like literally? It doesn't matter where I put a light.
Those bags, son. Got those
The permanent
bags.
star.
If this was a photograph, I would edit the
man.
shit out of it. I would look 21 and beautiful, but it's a video, and I don't like editing videos to make people look different. Videos are videos, so I will live with this beautiful. I'm an old man. I'm the old statesman of the group.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, with that being said, man, let me go ahead and sign us out. But if you guys haven't heard of Marvin Gaye, you've been living under a rock.
Oh, you're very young, and congratulations, you just found out.
You should take a long walk off a short pier.
Yeah, well, please. But and I'm also going to mention too, Marvin Gaye is from Washington D.C.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah, man,
shit.
One of
So,
yours.
I didn't know that either.
I like to think that he moved a bunch. He spent time in like Detroit, messing with Motown. Then he was in LA for a bit of his life. But yeah, he was born in DC. They actually have like a few like community centers and parks named after him, which is like really cool. I like to think that a lot of like singers that come from this area, they have like this Marvin Gaye-esque like vibe, just like super soulful and like smooth. But like we're like kind of like very big on like jazz influence, like not like how can I say it? We just like to fuse a lot of stuff, man. You guys just got to come to DC to like witness, but a lot of our singers, just kind of have like a certain jazzy, soulful like tone, and you can just tell like it's all like Marvin Gaye style, so I can put you guys onto a couple of like singers that came from this area, man. You'll hear what I'm talking about, but yeah, man, so thank you guys for listening to or watching the Bones, Twigs, and Wigs podcast. And this was another segment of Vinyl Impressions. Hope you guys, are still here, and hope you guys listen to the whole thing. If not, it's okay. We still love you, kinda, sorta.
No.
So yeah, man. Thanks for tuning in. Go ahead and say goodbye, fellas.
See you later, guys. Keep safe. Bye-bye.
Take care.